Welcome to the blind battle of the Russell Reserve 13s. I'm your host Sam, and this is Whiskey and SV. All right, so in today's episode, we're going to blind taste two batches of Russell Reserve 13. Now, this is a pretty hard to find allocated whiskey, and the price keeps going up. The batch one, so I have batch actually 2 and 4 here. I think batch one came out at around like $70 or $80, and then batch 2 and batch 3, which were released in the same year, they were about $100 MSRP. And then batch 3 that came out a couple of months ago, that's actually $150 MSRP. Now the reality is that even batch 1 was selling for 300 plus, and even though the MSRP on this is 100, I think it was also selling for 250 to 300 as well. So definitely, they are hard to find and kind of expensive whiskeys. I was lucky enough to be able to get both of these at MSRP, which is still a lot of money. I mean, especially for this batch 4, $100 is quite a lot of money, I think, to pay for a whiskey that's, there may be other alternatives for. So I've done a blind in the past, and in the blind, I definitely did prefer the Russell Reserve 13 batch 2 to the single barrels. Um, and the single barrels are usually around $75 or so, and they're much more available. So yeah, in today's episode, we'll try to do a blind tasting of this and see how it stacks up against the batch 2 stacks up against batch 4. So um, now, you might be wondering how I know which one is batch 2 and which one's batch 4, because these are not cask strength products, so it's not like you can tell from like the alcohol by volume. But the thing that there's a very faint laser code that can be visible if you're really looking for it. It's like very difficult to see actually. Um, it has to be like under light. Yeah. So this one, I'll probably show this later. It's like it's very hard. I'm sure it's not going to be able to see if I just bring it against the camera. But this is batch. Uh, wait, what batch is this? This is LLJL. So LL/JL. Um, and apparently that means it's batch 2, and batch 4, I believe, is LLL. Yeah, so it's LL/LC. And that means it's batch 4. So I'll probably show these in the thing later so you can see them. But anyway, so yeah, keep that in mind that this is one of those whiskeys where yeah, the batch is probably going to make a difference, but they're all at the same ABV. So so basically they do bring them down. I don't know if they do that by just a mixture of cask or if they actually water them down. It's unclear to me. Okay, and for this one, I have a sample, so I'm not going to be pouring from the bottle. I'm going to be pouring from a sample. Um, and yeah, okay, so I think that was about half of the sample, so I have about half of it left. I originally thought that maybe this isn't worth it, and I think even though secondary prices are very high, it is actually a really nice whiskey. So, and I don't think it's easy to get this kind of experience or close to it. Well, close to it you can, but like you can't really get this kind of experience. Okay, so while I'm thinking about this, I'll let that go. And what I have in mind is that this is it special enough that I want to find more batch 2 before it becomes extremely difficult to find? Or are they close enough that, I don't really need to worry about hunting specific batches? So I haven't tried batch 1 or batch 3 yet, and I think I will try to find them at some point and give them a try. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. All right. Well, very much. There's a lot of oak and kind of cherry notes on this. Vanilla and caramel, of course. But yeah, I get very strong cherry and fruity note on it. It's a very inviting nose, quite sweet. Okay, let's see if this is any different. Oh wow, it's very different. Not quite as much fruity notes on this one. This one is more rick house dusty kind of oak notes. There is, of course, some fruity notes and the usual vanilla and caramel, but just comparatively, this is a lot more cherry, kind of like dark fruits. Very interesting. I'm surprised that there's that big a difference. Hmm. Okay, so um, let's see. Let's go with the one that is less fruity. Although going back to it now, it also has some fruit on it. No, but it's definitely this one's way more fruity. Okay, so let's start with this one first. Has some bite to it. So yeah, syrupy, mouth coating, sweetness on the front. Um, then quite a bit of spices come out, and then yeah, very mouth watering. Although like it's my first dram of the day, and yeah, quite a lot of oak on that finish. Nothing about this is offensive, and it packs quite a lot of flavor and packs a lot of yeah punch for the ABV that it is. Okay, let me try this one next. Okay, straight away definitely seems a bit more like fruity again, as I said. Okay, let's see. This was actually more oaky um, than that one. Um, Again, very similar kind of like profile. I wouldn't say there is a big enough distinct. This one it just feels like it's a bit more flavor, a little bit more fruit. Um, Seems to be lingering a little bit more as well, to be honest. Quite a lot of oak. Um, it has this like uh, um, not bitter at all, but very mouth drying kind of tart, oaky feeling to it. Uh, and I enjoy it, to be honest. Let's see. I think I would, as things stands, give the slight edge to this one. I don't know which one it is. I've heard actually the batch four is more fruity. So if I was to guess, I would say this is probably batch four. Um, Let me just do that again. Let me just interesting. Now that I go back to it, this one seems more fruity. There's not a lot between these two. They're both excellent, excellent whiskeys, and honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I don't think there's one that I would say is so much better than the other one that I would definitely want to have to hunt it down and find it. So yeah, so I think I would give maybe the slight edge to this one, but it's very close. It's definitely very close. So let's do the reveal. This is number two. Oh yeah, so I did get it right. This one is the slightly more fruity one, in line with I think a lot of reviews that I've seen. This is number one, which is the older batch. So there you have it, folks. I think you can't go wrong with either one of these if you can find them on MSRP. I wouldn't really think to me they're not worth secondary prices at all. But then again, most whiskeys to me are not worth secondary. There are very few whiskeys that I'm willing to pay secondary for, and even if I do pay secondary, it would be like a moderate amount above MSRP, not like the prices that people like literally try to charge like 2 or 3x MSRP for these. I don't think they're worth that. I think they're definitely like very unique. If you can get them on MSRP, they're worth drinking. Um, I would just not pay secondary, but and as for batches, I think yeah, just they're kind of uh, similar enough that I wouldn't worry too much about saying I have to have this batch, I have to have that batch. I mean, of course, if you're a super enthusiast and you want to have every batch in your collection, then sure, why not? But that comes at a cost. So, okay, enough ranting. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and see you next time. Cheers.